Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Today is February the 27th, and this is the short month of the year. So we just thank God that we are here, and we had such a wonderful weekend and celebration of life. Danyelle, your cook, normal cook for the day, will not be here today. And just keep her up in your prayers. She sprained her hip, and it doesn't feel good. So my name is Queen Aduni, also known as Sheila Everette-Hale, and I will be your host today. And we're going to talk about communion with God. And just what does that mean for you? I love Conversation with God, that whole series. So if you've never checked it out, it's a goodie. Conversation with God 1, 2, and 3, friendship with God, then communion with God, and then revelation. And it's a story of Neil Donald Walsh, who was really pissed off at his life and pissed off at God, was in his room fussing and fussing and fussing and fussing and fussing and asking God, why this, why that, with such an attitude and stuff. And then all of a sudden God said, you really want to know? And it's like, what, and the conversation goes from there. What? Explaining about life and our approach to life and things that we are not understanding. And when you read it, it's like, yeah, that's what I thought. When you hear when you hear his question, you're like, yeah, what about that? And then when he answers, it's like, well, kind of, that's what I thought it should be like, God. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth book is a communion with God, which is different from what we know of communion, like in the church and stuff like that, taking communion. This is really understanding our relationship and how we created what we have created. Before we get started, though, I would really like for everyone to just kind of, say hi, Grand Rising, and what you're up to right now in today or in this week, or in life, or anything you want to share right quick. And so I guess if I go according to my box, that's probably the best way. And guess who's in the left top corner is Mama Evelyn.
Oh, okay.
You right there in the left top.
Well, I had a good weekend. Like I said, I had company. But we had the visioning board with Mama Reverend Omani.
How was that?
And it was sometimes you think because I've done vision boards before, but then I realized my vision boards was a lot of word salads, what she calls word salads and some pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then they were kind of big, so I got a really good understanding of what it is I was supposed to do. Well, the first vision board was supposed to be what am I going to be for God? Because she said that's the way it starts off, is you make a commitment of you say, well, what you always ask God, what can he do for you? But what are you going to do? What are you going to be for him? So I got to understand that. And my first vision board was a word salad. Here we go. Because I didn't remember that I had to have this done until 8:00 Friday night.
I know, right?
So yeah, there's a lot of words there, And then once we got off the call, because she wasn't feeling well, but once we got off the call, then I began to just put together a simpler version
Okay,
with pictures.
so Evelyn, go back if you could bring the other one up and let's hear what your word salad. What are those
Oh,
words?
my word salad was, well, first I put up here, Evelyn, who are you going to be for God? You know, and then the biggest word is obedient,
Uh-huh.
because that stood out to me. Patient, grateful. I'm gonna be still and listen, be of service, be a blessing, be quiet, be loving at all times, be in integrity,
Mm-hmm.
be compassionate, dedicated to my walk with God. And I think that's peaceful over
Uh-huh.
there.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, word salad, but you need a visual. You need pictures that bring forth. And then this was
Uh-huh.
too much going on. So I narrowed it down to only a few things on the other side. You know, still I asked the question, who are you going to be for God?
Mm-hmm.
And she said to really punch it up, you put the I am. Okay. But for God, I will be again the obedient. Be still and listen.
Okay.
Um, I thought I'd put my picture up there because it's about me and my walk
Mm-hmm.
with him.
Yeah.
Okay. And then listen to what God has planned for my life and be of service. So it's so when I see this, I'm not going to be overwhelmed. I can pick one thing to be for the day.
Yeah. I love it.
So
I
yeah.
see the
And
difference.
then I realized, and then it's small, it's 12 by 12. You know, it's not so big where you got to figure out where you can put it. You know, I can hang this on the wall somewhere and I can see it.
Yeah.
So this is the size I'm going to be working with. And so um we're going to come together again on the 5th, and this will be done. This is done, and then I have one more I need to do, which is what do I want to accomplish, or what do I want to be working on and well into by June, which we're doing a 6-month thing. So
So
for
now
that, it'll be my health.
this one, Mama, is that's the spiritual one. Or
Yeah,
where
this is the
for God. The
yeah.
next
Who am I
one,
going to
are
be
you
for
still
God?
working on that one right there?
Huh?
Will you still be working on that one until until
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This will be in conjunction. I think this is okay. What's coming to me is this is what I refer to in conjunction with my other goals, my health goals, which
Yes,
will
yes.
be my second vision board, which will be my health and eating more raw or drinking. It's easier for me to drink the juices.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easier for me to throw the green in there and a banana and some blueberries and drink that. It's much easier for me than try to eat. But I've been eating more salads, um, and just more raw in my life. So I'm gonna find pictures of raw and
mm-hmm,
juicy, you
mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Good,
yeah,
cool. Well,
Well,
thank you.
yeah.
thank
So
you,
that's what
Mama
I.
Evelyn. Yeah, that's inspirational. I like that. I want to try it myself.
Let me say something.
Yeah, yeah. And don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to have so much on a board and do so much at once. You know,
Mm-hmm,
just take
mm-hmm.
it one thing at a time. And I've been very obedient to reading, you know, my Course in Miracles.
Yes,
Okay.
very good.
Not that I'm really I'm understanding some things, but some things kind of. But I figure
Yeah,
the second year of doing this, I'll we'll understand more. And the third year of doing, because I don't see this stopping. That's
Yeah. Well,
putting my spiritualness ahead of everything else
yeah.
will help out everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Reverend Omani has been reading it for how many years and still get revelations. That's how God is. God is, you're always picking up something else, but you get what you need at the time that, right then. And
Right.
even what we get right then, there's another level of understanding that we got, then there's another level, and then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like, wow, that was so what do you call it? Like on the surface, and then you start going deep in that same scripture, that same saying, or that same word gets deeper and deeper as you go along. Star wanted to be next.
No, I just wanted to say something to Mama Evelyn.
Okay, well, you're next.
Mama Evelyn, you look brighter. The shadow that was there I don't see it anymore. So whatever that you're doing, keep it up.
Thank you.
It makes you like, what was I looking like before? No. When people say that, you're going deeper. That's all it is. It's deeper.
Yeah,
Deeper and lighter, because some things get lifted from your depth, then other things, it starts to really show. All right, Deetra. Thanks, Mama.
Well, Grand Rising, everyone. So good to be here. This really gives me a good purpose for my morning. So thank you. Let's see, what am I doing? Let's see. This is the end of the month. So I'm actually working our counseling practice. I deal with the bills, who's getting paid, what's what with that. So I have to go through some paperwork. So I'm going to be here fiddling around a little bit, but I'm trying to get it done before the end of the month. So
Are you trying, or are you going to do it?
Oh, thank you. I am doing it. I don't know. I'm not trying to do nothing. I am doing it. Yes, I am.
Thank you. All right, Ebony. What's up, girl? She might have walked away.
Oh, ladies, come back to me. I'm trying to get into it.
Bridget.
Woo, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, beautiful sister Loxy girl.
Yes. Still trying to
let me ask you, how did that feel, being out in the public in such a grand event without, your big hair and stuff, and with your new sister Loxy?
It was still some getting used to, because I'm a Leo. Leos are used to a big mane of hair. I've always worn a big mane of hair.
Right.
And so it's taken some getting used to, but at the same time, I'm in love with it. It just feels, it's unexplainable.
Yeah.
And I think of, like Mama Evelyn said, Reverend Omani's word salads. So I'm starting to think about what I say. So you're not, repeating, just saying stuff to be said or old cliches. But it's almost a feeling that's hard to describe. It's me.
There you go.
And this is me. And there's nothing to hide behind. That's what I'm looking for. There's nothing to hide behind. You don't realize how you hide behind braids and weaves and everything else. what was very interesting was the amount of women who stopped me.
Yeah.
The amount of women who stopped me and
Yeah.
said, "You are rocking those sister locks. I just want to tell you how
Yeah.
beautiful they are." And first off, it blows my mind you sat that long, but it and I had to laugh. But they were like, "I love it. I love it. I love it." And it was other women who were also wearing their natural hair. And just to have that wow, and to hear it from your sisters, just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. And you were beautiful. You are beautiful. And when I did the sister locks, because I was a braider, so I could wear my hair, put anything in my hair, myself, or I had braiders all around me. And I felt like my mother's daughter.
Yes. 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 That's it.
Yeah,
That,
and then as they
it.
grow and they'll thicken up, they'll be a thicker,
Mhm.
and just it is an experience. It's a journey,
Mhm.
locks period is a journey, and so congratulations, and again, congratulations on your display. It was
Thank you.
beautiful. I wish they could have seen it down, down below where they would have
Mhm.
seen what was going on and stuff. But yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to share?
No, I am just still basking in this whole experience of this past weekend, and
Yeah.
just because that display that I did wasn't what I originally was going to do. I
Mm-hmm.
had a whole nother design.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
when I woke up that morning, that I what I did is what came when I was
Mm-hmm.
waking up that morning. And then what I did with the chairs, I didn't plan to do that. I was standing at the table, and that was a total freehand design of
Yeah.
give it, something else. So just the whole creativity, and when it just all starts to flow out. And that is what I love about
Yeah.
doing. That's what I love about doing event decor and design, is that it allows you that freedom. If you have a client who says, whatever you want to do, go for it,
Yeah.
and you're able to do that. But even if your client says, this is what I want, to be able to create, and I love flowers. I love flowers and floral designs and everything else.
Yeah.
And just to be able to spread that out and just create beauty. Yeah, my thought was, a couple sitting there, and that was, what would a romantic dinner, an evening of a couple who'd come to that event, what would they want their table to look like? And that was what the kind of the ambiance that I wanted to set.
Mhm.
So yeah, my weekend is just flow with whatever, God has for me, and start to prepare for March, because we have an event. Sheila, myself, and Sky at the end of March. So
Yeah.
it starts to prepare. It is the preparation for that, and start to prepare for that.
I say thank you. I
Thank you.
tell you, as I go into Mama Head next, Detroit showed out Saturday. You hear me? Detroit showed out at the Satin Doll. I mean, just simply showed out. The vendors showed out. The help showed out. Those who were serving showed out. The people showed up and showed out. The entertainers, woo! Detroit was in the house. You hear me? In the house. And that being said, Mama Head, we just talking about everybody greeting and whatever you want to share. Grand Rising, sweetheart.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Oh man, this weekend it was a up and down and all around. I feel like I left the earth because I feel like we time traveled in that capsule at Bert's. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
Nicole and I have been talking about it for the last 2 days, just shaking our heads like every entertainer
Mm.
embodied their spirit of who they were representing.
Yes. Yeah.
The ancestors, the entertain sisters were visiting, okay? And I was like, I was like, Sky need to put this on Zoom so we can send it to the nursing home so the people can. I think it would really, even if they can't, really fully participate, I think hearing and or seeing the imagery and oh my God, oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
This is why I love clothes and
Yeah.
hair and all of that because of this time period. I know listen, if I was born back then, I'd been in trouble because I'd have been at the juke joint, I'd have been at the club sneaking and going. I know I would have been there. I would have been in trouble. But some things that were really pivotal about this weekend was meeting Bridget in person. It was really, because she looks, I told her, I said, you're beautiful here on camera, but it's something different in person. I was just like, I had to catch my breath, and I was going to ask you when you were asking her, did you feel naked having your hair, just your natural? Did you feel naked?
Right.
It was fun being naked, honey. Okay. Anyway, that's just me and my thing. But I was taking pictures of Bridget's project. She was like, wait, I'm not. I was like, well, I wanted to tell her that I like getting the as it grows, the growing of the theme, but the photos were nice. And I gotta, Bridget, the photos you took, I like the table, but I was like, I can't crop this crap out. So we gotta learn how to get the, nothing but the good, because I was like, look at those wires and stuff, but we'll work on that because that's my expertise. That's my expertise.
We will work on that. That was, it was being in that moment because that energy had already started flowing through that room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was, I wanted that table because again, I'm an event planner. So I'm also looking at the clock. And I'm looking at the clock on time, what time this show starts, what time do doors open, this table has to be done. But then I was also thinking, nobody can see what the top of that table looked like. They could only see it from where they were.
Right.
And it was a little disappointing, but it was still do what you do.
We might have to put we might have to put a mirror. We have to hang a mirror.
I know. That's what I was thinking. If there was an angled mirror, we
might have to angle the table. Could either angle the table. Look at me. Okay, we'll write that down. I'll write that down on the sidebar. But it was just really phenomenal because I didn't get to see the table from the top until I looked at the pictures, and I didn't look at the pictures until I got home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because
I didn't even see the table.
And I was like, wait. Because when you said that, my mind was creating add this, no, move this, no, move that. So you caught me a creative mind of, all right, what else did I want to move or what else did I want to do? And so that's why I was like, wait. But when you're in the middle of creating, you can't explain the whole what's going on.
I was supposed to be sneaking. You weren't supposed to know. So I wouldn't take you out of creative mode, but it just looks so beautiful. But what really blew my mind was when they turned the lights on. The table was like, ring, in the dark, ring.
Yes.
That table was my weekend, but it was just really, really nice to be out. And I love clothes. So for the people to be dressed up, and I don't know if you all remember the sister with the great that hat that looked like one Aretha would wear with the rhinestones.
Yes.
We were talking in the sidebar on the back when we were cleaning up and everything. And we were saying about how I said, I like that people put clothes on. And she said, yeah, people need to dress the F up. That's
right.
But this is really the whole, when when I first talked to Sky, because Sky and I kind of
One second. What they're talking about is Sky Covington's Satin Doll review that was at Burt's in the warehouse. And it
Take Five.
took it to a whole, and Take Five and a couple of other
Olivia.
groups and stuff.
Olivia.
Yeah, and how amazing it was. Detroit showed up like it was the same feeling as when the children went to America's Got Talent. Those children and the support that Detroit had for them children when they didn't win. They came in second place, right?
Mhm.
And when they when they came home, just the camaraderie, and they had so many different entertainers there, and all of their family and friends showed up. So the audience was first class, off the hook, all into
I
it.
got chills. Oh my
Mhm.
God. But let me just say this before we go on. I got to say this one thing. The Take Five, the men, the Take Five, they did a Take Five of 5 different artists that they brought, energies that they called for. The pianist in that group, that man hit the chords and something went through my whole body.
Yes.
and made me wail out. When I tell you, I didn't even realize what I was like, I'm not gonna say the words again, but I mean, it went through my whole body, and then I just immediately thought about my grandmother. My grandmother played by ear, and she was a little something, but she had big, powerful hands. And when he hit those chords, I just thought about her. But my body just convulsed almost. That when he hit this one, oh. But anyway, y'all, you gotta go see that show. If you haven't, you have to go see that show. Gotta go.
That show,
Ben, if you can't go, Ben.
yes. When you said the ancestors were in that room, there were so many times that I was like, my father is here, because my father sang Nat King Cole in the house, and he sang Billy Eckstine in the house, and because my father had a tenor voice, so they were up there singing, and I just felt all of that. And just when she said Detroit showed up and got dressed, the whole premise of a supper club is Sky's idea and my idea mirror one another, because it's that 1940s throwback of when you go to a supper club event, you get dressed, and it's great music, and it's great food, and it's good wine or good cocktails or what have you. And yeah, when, like Queen said, the people dressed to the nines, and it was just really, really, really amazing. Really amazing.
All right. Is Kim, you want to come on yet? Sanji.
Grand Risings, Queen.
Grand Rising, sweetie. Oh my God, look at this girl.
Hello.
That's how it was, though. That's how it was, wasn't it, Sanji?
Yes.
She was
We had
also
a wonderful time Saturday night.
there.
Yeah, it was, eventful. I normally just would see the Satin Dolls, but this was the first time I've seen Take Five as well. And it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
The people there, the camaraderie between everyone. Like you said, Detroit was really in the house, and I enjoyed meeting some of the fellow Elizabeths there. So I mean, that was wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's so funny. They kind of peeped me out. They said, "You're Sanji, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." Yeah, so it was a really, really wonderful night, and and I look forward, to attending more events, because Sky is amazing, and I, participate in all her events and, help her out in the background and everything. And I'm looking forward to the end of March to the next presentation. And hopefully by then I'll be back to myself. Because fortunately, I'm getting acclimated to our new residence here in
Okay.
Redford because we found a house to move into. So right now I'm just um, getting reacclimated, to this and it's going back to normalcy. So that's what I'm experiencing now. And like I said, at Saturday's event, that you know, just made me realize, I'm home.
Ashe. Well, we're glad, so glad for you. It was great seeing you. Like I said, Lolly was there. Lolly was my assistant, and so that was wonderful. And she was able to, just all of us Elizabeths that were there doing our thing. That was awesome. Lily B, how are you? How you be, Lily B? Tell me something good.
Hi. Wait, I was like right in the middle of washing my face, but ain't no shame in my game. Happy Monday, beautiful people. It's good to take care of yourself. Just getting a little face together, doing a little nice little scrub and a wash. I love y'all. I'm okay. I'm living. I can't complain. My grandmother transitioned, so I've just been in the process of that and doing things that I haven't done. Like healing and grieving. I didn't get a chance for a couple of deaths. I just kept moving. This one, I know it's time to sit with myself and heal and go through the process. So I'm just here doing the process, living, taking one day at a time, and just being thankful for the time spent and being in understanding of the situation.
Yes.
So God has something greater, it ain't none of my business what God got going on. So I'm just here to be a vessel. I did my work, and now it's time for me to sit back and just reflect on that. But hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
I miss y'all. And thank you for checking on me. All the love. I appreciate everybody. The baby's doing good, y'all. She's almost 14 pounds now. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
She wearing my shoulder down. Yeah. But yeah, everything is going well. All is well, you all. All is well. And thank you for all the concerns, the love, and the care. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back on here more often. Just got to get back in the swing of things. But I'm here. I'm alive.
Okay.
I'm still dressing cute, shopping at the thrift store. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. But I'm here.
Your season is coming to be able to be outside all the time.
Yes, ma'am. Listen, I already was out. I went out the other day. I had to get there. So, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready to beat my feet till my ankles bleed around that walk.
Thank you. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
want to share you all on Facebook. There's a group called Where Do Black Women Go to Grieve? It is a beautiful group with Etta Fly and P. Marie.
Yeah.
They are incredible with their sessions. So I don't know, they've changed. Facebook has made some drastic changes on how to get into private groups or whatever. You can't just share the links anymore. I don't know what that is.
So it's Naturally Fly.
Yeah, they got to say, I think we have to send them the pay. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll send them a picture of it or something, but some kind of way. I think you can still at least look it up, but you can't send invites to people. So some kind of way I got to get the information to my friends, but it is Where Do Black Women Go to Grieve? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I seen that on Naturally Fly, on her Naturally Fly page.
Yes. Yeah. So if you can, they even meet up and go places. So and I want to get them on, but they were like, Mama Head, we busy, we resting. I was like, I gotta get anyway, whoever can get them on, maybe somebody else ask them again. I don't know. I don't care what day it is, it just need to be a day, okay? You have to make it a day, but we need to have them on. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I see.
Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
Yes, I appreciate you.
Ebony, are you ready yet?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hi, I'm all settled in. Y'all had a weekend, guys. Grand Rising ladies. I had a restful weekend. That's what I did. My son was sick, and then I definitely realized maybe he's going through the changes. His voice, he was sick, and then it was just like his voice. So I think he's going through the changes, but he was sick, but now he's fine. I rested after that. I had to get in mommy mode, but then I had my rest. Then I went outside. I went outside for a little bit, and then I came back inside. And I had a good restful weekend. Yeah, y'all party sounded beautiful.
Mhm.
I definitely gotta check out next time. 'Cause I need something to do. Keep me busy. 'Cause I like going outside just a little bit.
That's good.
So,
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
so
Yeah.
now I'm grateful to be back at work. I'm grateful that I was able to service my family because some of my family lost power. I did not, so I was just blessed to check up on them and keep them safe. And now I'm back at work and ready to get this week done and over with so I can get back to, I started my Course of Miracles. That's that too. So
Yeah,
I'm excited
yeah.
about that. I've been cheating myself and I've been doing it with the phone, but I actually got the book this weekend, so I'm excited to get started like actually in the book because I like notes and like highlighting stuff and coloring. So
Yeah.
I feel like something too, so I'm excited for that.
I
And
see.
seeing
Thank
all these
you.
beautiful ladies, oh Bridget's setup was so gorgeous.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Star. I hear her moving around upstairs.
Well, she running back to the computer.
Mhm. Star.
Yes, ma'am.
Starlight, first star I see tonight. Wish I may and wish I might have a night.
Well, you want to greet us and stuff?
Grand Rising Elizabeth.
Grand Rising.
Am I supposed to say more? Everybody
Whatever
was
you
saying something. What are they talking about?
we're just greeting, and if you want to share anything about your weekend or life.
Well, I'm still here. That's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And so is everyone that I'm looking at. Um, I want to say that it is a blessing to be in Elizabeth. And I can always feel the love and the unity and the anointing from the Elizabeths, not just on this platform, but when I talk to either one of you, or when I see you and can get a hug and stuff like that. And I just want to say that thank you for every one of you and for who you are. I have seen, well, we have seen the changes in each one of us since we started almost a year ago. And again, I just want to say thank you, and I'm proud to be here. I'm
Thank
complete.
you. Do we have Kim with us yet? Okay, great, 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 great. Well, thank you everyone for showing up today. For those who wasn't here when I announced, Danyelle sprained her hip, and so she is in excruciating pain, she says. So I am sitting in for my girl. What I want to talk about today, for a little while is about conversation with God. This is one of the series. One of them is communion with God. And just shares, it's by Neil Donald Walsh. Okay. Communion with God, right there. and Neil Donald Walsh. So this is the prelude, and feel free to, jump in. God has spoken to you many times in many ways over many years, but seldom as directly as this. This time I speak to you as you, capital U. And that has occurred on only a handful of occasions in the whole of your history. Few humans have had the courage to hear me, capital me, in this way, as themselves, being one with God. That's me saying that. And fewer still have shared with others what they have heard. Those few who have listened and shared have changed the world. AESOP, how you say that? Aesop, Confucius, Lao Tzu, Buddha, Muhammad, Moses, and Jesus were among them. So too, Aristotle, Hang Po, Sahara, Mahavira, Krishnamurti, also Paramahansa Yogananda. Anyway, all these people, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Dalai Lama, Elizabeth Clinton as well. So anyway, Mother Teresa, all these people that he lists. Okay.
All them.
Yeah, including Joan of Arc, Francis of Assisi, Joseph Smith, and more, others not mentioned here. This list could go on, yet relative to the total number of humans who have inhabited your planet, the number is minuscule. These few have been my messengers, for all have brought forth the truth within their hearts, as best as they understood it, as purely as they knew it. And while they have each done so through imperfect filters, they have nonetheless brought to your awareness extraordinary wisdom from which the whole human race has benefited. What's amazing is how similar their insights have been. Offered at vastly different times and places, separated by legions and centuries, they might just as well have been speaking all at the same time. So tiny have been the variances between them, and so huge the commonalities. Now it is time to expand this list to include others living today as my latest messengers. We will speak with one voice unless we do not. You will make that choice, even as you have always done. For in each moment of now, you have made your decision and announced it in action. At the beginning, your thoughts are mine, capital M, and mine are yours. For at the beginning, it can be no other way. There is only one source of that which is, and the one source is that which is. All things emanate from that source, then permeate the isness all over and reveal themselves as individuations of the whole. That's in caps. The individual interpretations of the one message produce the miracle of oneness in many forms. And my thing is, and it comes from this reading, is that we are one and that there is no better than. This oneness in many forms is what you call life. Life is God interpreted. That is translated into many forms. The first level of translation is from the unified non-physical to the individuated non-physical. The second level of translation is from the individuated non-physical to the individuated physical. The third level of translation is from the individuated physical into the unified physical. The fourth level of translation is from the unified physical into the unified non-physical. Then the cycle of life is complete. The continuing process of the translation of God produces endless variety within God's unity. This variety of the unity is what I have called individuation. It is the individual expression of that which is not separate, but which can be individually expressed. The purpose of individual expression is for me to express, the purpose of individual expression is for me to experience myself capitalized as the whole through the experiencing of my parts. And while the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, I can only experience this by knowing the sum. And that is who you are. You are the sum of God. I have told you this many times before, and many of you have heard this as the Son, S-O-N, of God. That too is correct. You are the sons and daughters of God. Yet it does not matter what labels or names you use. It adds up to the same thing. You are the sum of God. So too is everything around you, everything that you see and do not see, all that is, all that ever was, and all that ever will be is me. And all that I am now. I am that I am, as I have told you many times. I want to break this I am that I am down. And I've heard people say, like accentuate the one word each time you say it. So I am that I am. 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 As I have told you many times. There is nothing that I have ever been that I have ceased to be. There is nothing that I have ever been that I have ceased to be. And there is nothing that I will ever be that I am not now. I cannot become anything that I now am not, nor can I fail to be anything that I once was. That's deep. This is as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. I am coming to you now in this day and time as you begin another millennium, so that you may start a new 1,000 years in a new way, knowing me at last, choosing me first, and being me always. Always. There's no mistake in the timing. I began these new revelations early in the last decade, continued my conversations with you throughout the last years of the century, and in the final moments of the last millennium, reminded you how you may have a friendship with me. Now, in the first year of the millennium, I speak to you with one voice, that we may experience communion. Should you choose this experience of communion with God, you will finally know peace and joy unbounded and love fully expressed and full freedom. Should you choose this truth, you will change your world. Should you choose this reality, you will create it and at last fully experience who you really are. It will be the hardest thing you have ever done and the easiest thing you will ever do. It will be the hardest thing you have ever done because you will have to deny who you think you are and stop denying me. It will be the easiest thing you ever do because there will be nothing that you have to do. Oh, all you have to do is be. And all you have to be is me. Even this will not be an act of will, but a simple acknowledgement. I will not require an action, only an admission. I have been seeking this admission forever. When you grant me admission, you let me into your life. You admit that you and I are one. This is the ticket to heaven. It says, admit one. Your ticket says, admit one. When I gain entrance into your heart, you gain entrance into heaven. And your heaven can be on earth. Everything can truly be on earth as it is in heaven. When the time of separation is over and the time of unification is at hand. Unification with me and unification with all others and with every living being and every living thing. Sorry. This is what I have come to tell you once more through the messengers of today. You will know them as my messengers because they will all be bringing the same message. We are all one. This is the only message that matters. It is the only message there is. Everything else in life is a reflection of this message. Everything else sends it. The fact that you have so far failed to receive it, you have heard it often, but you have failed to receive it, is what has caused every misery, every sorrow, every conflict, every heartache in your experience. It has caused every murder, every war, every rape and robbery, every assault and attack, mental, verbal, and physical. It has caused every illness and dis-ease and every encounter with what you call death. The idea that we are not one is an illusion. Any comments so far?
I got a lot.
Go ahead.
I remember we've talked about this several times, but Reverend Jim, can't remember. Yes, thank you, Reverend Jim, James rather, talked about that. And then, I'm listening to this and I'm saying, I'm so glad I read Dr. Seuss because it's helping me understand the way that this person writes.
Mm-hmm.
And the author is the author writing as God? I mean, as the I am, is the author the one writing the message of the creator? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, so God is dictating to him.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And he will ask a question and then God will respond.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just reminds me so much of, and the reason why I say that, because the one about Dr. Seuss, when he talks about, I will not eat that, I will not eat green eggs and ham, I will not eat, it's just the way it flows. And then things that we talk about end up being a circle I like to say a spiral, a spiral anyway, because I wanted you to reread like that last paragraph. every blah, blah, every this, every that is because of this, because we have that, because of the separation, the bit, what is it? I think it's the last paragraph. I know this is recorded, but I was like, I need to hear that first part again.
I'll read it again. Okay, let me just go right here. When I gain entrance into your heart, you gain entrance into heaven. And your heaven on earth, and your heaven can be on earth. Everything can truly be on earth as it is in heaven. When the time of separation is over and the time of unification is at hand. Unification with me and unification with all others and with every living thing. This is what I have come to tell you once more through the messengers of today. You will know them as my messengers because they will all be bringing the same message. We are all one.
Ashe.
This is the only message that matters. It is the only message there. It's the only message there is. Everything else in life is a reflection of this message. Everything else sends it. The fact that you have so far failed to receive it, you have heard it often, but you have failed to receive it. What has caused every misery, every sorrow, every conflict, every heartache in your experience. It has caused every murder, every war, every rape, every robbery, every assault and attack, mental, verbal, and physical. It has caused every illness and disease and every encounter with what you call death. The idea that we are not one is an illusion. Was that what you was yeah, okay.
So I think that because of how I operate now, I get in that place too, but on most time, I think that I know that that's my push for people to know that that we can have heaven on earth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, that my push of that, my Taurusing of that, my pushing of that is what upsets folks sometimes. Because I tell them, I don't care I don't care. Not that I don't care. There is nothing that you could tell me that I cannot turn it around and show you. Because I tell people, let's look at the lesson of the thing instead of what happened. Let's look at the lesson of it, bringing it back. And that's why I like to talk about the spirals, because you spiral in and you spiral out. And as you're spiraling in, there's winds that are pushing that energy out. The same thing. If you remember that little Google thing that the little, what do you call it? The buffer. How it turns.
Yes.
As it's turning one direction, you see the energy, because you don't know which way that thing is spinning. And then you see the energy flowing out of it the opposite way. That's why I like the spiral instead of circles. Breaking circles and cycles and getting more into spirals. Where it's a learning as you're going through it, there's a learning, but there are lessons in our experiences. We focus on, when we don't see the lesson, we focus on other things. I don't want to call them. I just want to say that there are lessons and there are growths, because if we don't experience some things, we won't know the difference. When we meet it again, we know what to do now. Some people will say, oh, I shouldn't have did blah, blah, blah. But you wouldn't know what you know now. If you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't have this understanding.
Yeah. Deetra, did you want to share something?
I did. Did I look like I did?
You looked at it like that, yeah, girl.
Right. You know what? I thank you. I thank you so much for bringing this to us today, because I've read his work as well, Conversations with God, and it's amazing how I'm hearing it again, but I'm learning something new. I remember when I first read it, I didn't understand clearly what was going on. But now I see things better. So thank you. Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Anyone else want to share something before I go on? Okay, let's go here. Most people believe in God. They just don't believe in a God who believes in them.
Mm.
God does believe in them, and God loves them more than most of them know. The idea that God turned stone silent and stopped talking to the human race a long time ago is false. The idea that God is angry with the human race and kicked it out of paradise is false. The idea that God has set himself up as judge and jury and will be deciding whether members of the human race go to heaven or hell is what, ladies? False.
False. That part.
God loves every human being who ever lived, lives now, or ever will live. God's desire for every soul to return to God. God's desire is for every soul to return to God. And God, get this, and God cannot fail in having his desire fulfilled.
Woo!
That again. Okay, I gotta say that again.
Okay.
God's desire is for every soul to return to God. And God cannot fail in having his desire fulfilled. This desire fulfilled. There right in there is your safety. It's like my son knows that if something happened, he can come home with his children or whatever. We're going to make it happen. When you have that kind of confidence in who you love and that they love you, and we'll move mountains and all that kind of stuff to make it happen. Oh my God. God's desire is for every soul to return to God, and God cannot fail in having his desire fulfilled. God is separate from nothing, and nothing is separate from God. There is nothing that God needs because God is everything there is. This is the good news. Everything else is an illusion. The human race has been living with illusions for a long time. This is not because the human race is stupid, but because the human race is very smart. Humans have understood intuitively that illusions have a purpose and a very important one. Most humans have simply forgotten that they know this. And they have forgotten that their forgetting is itself part of what they have forgotten, and therefore part of the illusions. Does that make sense to you all? Okay.
That the forgottenness is the illusion. Yes, the separation. It's back to the separation.
Yeah. And they have forgotten. So most humans have simply forgotten that they know this. Okay. It's an illusion, and they have forgotten that their forgetting is itself part of what they have forgotten. They forgot that they forgot. We forgot that we forgot, and therefore part of the illusion. Now it is time for humans to remember. You are one of those who will lead the vanguard in this process. There's nothing surprising in this, given what has been going on in your life. You have come to this book to remember the illusions of humans so that you may never again be caught up in them, but achieve communion with God once more in the living of your life through the awareness of ultimate reality. It is perfect that you have done so. And it is obviously not happenstance. The fact that I'm reading this is what you need right now, is what we're ready for right now.
Mhm.
You have come here so that you may know experientially that God resides within you, that you may have, whenever you wish, a meeting with the Creator.
Tell them again. Tell them one more time. Tell them again.
You have come here so that you may know experientially that God resides within you, that you may have, whenever you wish, a meeting with the Creator. The Creator may be experienced and found within you and all around you, but you must look past the illusions of humans. You must ignore them. Here are the 10 illusions. Get to know them well so that you will recognize them when you encounter them.
Wait a minute. Get my pen. Get your pen. Get your paper.
Mhm. That's serious because this is some good stuff. Okay. So 1, need exists. Okay. And when you write that, don't like comma the next comma, put it in, because it's gonna add something to each one of those. So list them.
Wait, just a minute. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
We need the whiteboard.
You know what? I gotta start using that whiteboard because we do have it on.
She just told me I'm here. I'm available. She said I'm
Yeah.
available.
Number 1,
said-
need exists.
NEED?
Yep. Number 2, failure exists. Number 3, disunity exists.
Unity.
Number 4, insufficiency exists.
Insufficiency.
Number 5, requirement exists. 6, judgment exists.
You said requirement 4 or 5?
Number 5 is requirement. Number 6, judgment.
Excuse me.
Number 7, condemnation.
Condemnation.
Number 8, conditionality exists. Number 9, superiority exists. And number 10, ignorance exists. The first 5 of these are the physical illusions, having to do with life in your physical body. The second 5 are the metaphysical illusions, having to do with non-physical realities. In this communication, each of these illusions will be explored in detail. You will see how each has been created. You will see how each has affected your life. And before this communication is complete, you will also see how you can undo any effects of these illusions that you wish to undo. So we're not stuck here. We're not stuck. There is hope. Now, the first step in the process of any really open communication is that you must be willing to suspend your disbelief about what you are learning. I'm sorry, in what you are hearing.
Okay.
You will be asked to do that here. Please temporarily give up any previous notions you may have about God and life. You may return to your previous ideas at any time. It is not a question of abandoning them forever, but of merely setting them aside for the moment to allow for the possibility that there may be something you do not know, the knowing of which could change everything. Examine, for instance, your reaction to the idea that God is communicating with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
In your past, you have found all sorts of reasons not to accept that you could have an actual conversation with God. I'm going to ask you to set those thoughts aside and assume that you are receiving this communication directly from me. To make it easier on you, I will speak of myself in the third person through much of this communication. I recognize that it may be a little unnerving for you to hear me using the first person singular. And so, while I will do it once in a while, just to remind you who is bringing you this information, I will most of the time speak of myself as simply God. While you're receiving a direct communication from the deity may seem improbable to you at first, understand that you have come to this communication to remember at last who you really are and the illusions that you have created. Soon, you will deeply understand that you have actually caused this book to come to you. For now, simply hear me when I tell you that in most of the moments of your life, you are living an illusion. The 10 illusions of humans are very big, very powerful illusions that you created during the earliest part of your experience on Earth. And you create hundreds of smaller ones every day. Because you believe them, you have created a cultural story that allows you to live these illusions and thus make them real. They are not really real, of course. Yet you have created an Alice in Wonderland world in which they seem very real indeed. And like the Mad Hatter, you will deny that what is false and that what is real is real. You have, in fact, been doing this for a very long time. A cultural story is a story that has been handed down from generation to generation across centuries and millennia. It is a story. It is the story that you tell yourself about yourself. Because your cultural story is based on illusions, it produces myths rather than an understanding of reality. All right, bring your paper back up. The cultural story of humans is that God has an agenda. Need exists. So behind need, God has an agenda. Number 2, behind failure exists. The outcoming of life is in doubt. Number 3, you are.
Okay, 1 is God has an agenda. 2 is what?
The outcome of life is in doubt. You're not sure about the outcome, what's going to happen.
And though that one goes with failure. The first one, that God has an agenda, goes with need, and outcoming of life in doubt is failures.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Behind disunity exists. The statement is you are separate from God. Disunity exists. Number 4, behind insufficiency, there is not enough. Behind requirement, there is something you have to do. Behind judgment, if you do not do it, you will be punished.
Wait, hold on. You
said that like a mother.
Hey, sweetie.
You're muted.
Woo.
Grand Rising.
Girl, your eyes, you look like you've been suffering in your body.
So I have ever since Saturday, after I came home from a client, my right leg just spasmed. I've never felt anything like this in life. And so since Saturday night, I've been trying, been doing a little bit of everything. Today it feels a little bit better, but I'm also taking Tylenol. So it's like to get to the point where I'm taking Tylenol, it's like it has something to do with it definitely has something to do with sciatic nerve, which I've never experienced before in life. And it's just difficult it's just something else. Like I have a newfound respect for people who are in constant pain because I've never experienced anything like this before. It even affects how I walk. And so today I just took the day off. Anything I was supposed to do, I'm not doing it. I'm getting some relief, but I'm still trying to figure it out. My boyfriend is like, do you want to go to the hospital? Problem is, going to the hospital just going to give you a muscle relaxer. It's not solving whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
And this is definitely muscular. I got every last CBD cream and essential oils and everything, but whatever it is, it's being pulled out. It's just the annoyance of it being pulled out. So it's like, yeah, this is something else. And I was like, oh, I can get up and do the show. And I was like, I can't get up. I'm like, I mean, I could have did it from the bed, but it's like, I just no. I'm like, no.
We're here.
Well, Danyelle, definitely hang in there. It seems like I've been through this before too, where I literally could not walk. I had a muscle back pain, muscle spasm. And what I found, after going through different things is that I needed magnesium. My body.
I have magnesium. I have magnesium oil from More Herbs, which I've been rubbing like constantly. And I have magnesium. I actually have the magnesium and potassium pills. So I probably need to take some more of those too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got something. I literally have everything that I need except for a holistic caregiver. Because this is like, oh, I'm like, it's something else. This is definitely something else. Like, oh God, okay. It hurts when I walk on my right leg, on my right foot, like putting weight on my right foot. You can feel it shooting back up into the nerve. So I know this is nerve. It's weird. Like I'm listening to my body. Okay, this is nerve. This is muscle. Okay, so what do I need to do? Just what?
It's showing you a book.
Who's the book?
You Can Heal Your Life by Louise.
I have that book. I have that digital copy on my book. And yes, we are speaking those affirmations out. Because it's like, oh my God. Oh, this is different.
So Danyelle, you called right on time because we were just talking about the illusions of life. And we were talking about the physical, and we had just crossed over into the metaphysical created illusion. When I'm looking at the sciatica, because all of our things, even though it's a physical, it also has a physiological possible. And it says sciatica challenges are being hypocritical, fear of money and of the future. And then the back. And remember, that side of your body is the masculine side. The right side is the masculine side. So for the back, in addition to, it depends. So that is it lower, that's lower back. Again, fear of money, lack of financial support.
Yeah, because it's not just the affirmations that we're saying, is that we have to look at what have we been saying that has created that. When that was happening to me, I realized I was always, because I wanted to move out of Detroit, and I was like, I feel stuck. I'm just stuck here. I'm so stuck here. I want to get out of here. I'm stuck, but I'm stuck. And I had to change that
Yeah, because you're repeating it over and over again.
and over again. So that was part of it.
And not just what comes out of your mouth, but what you're thinking,
Exactly.
because the
Mhm.
universe doesn't know the difference.
That's right.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so let's get back to here. Thank you for coming though, baby, coming and joining us.
Yes.
So
We're
the
number
snap-
7.
we're on 7. The
Yeah.
punishment is everlasting damnation.
Oh,
That's behind condemnation exists. Oh, Danyelle, I'm reading from The Communion with God by Neil Donald Walsh.
Okay.
Okay, and this is part of the preclude.
conditionality.
Number 8, love is therefore conditional. Number 9, behind superiority, knowing and meeting the conditions renders you superior.
Knowing and meeting.
Knowing and meeting the conditions renders you superior. Because I know it all. That's why God blesses me, because I know it all. Behind ignorance, you do not know that these are illusions. Ignorance exists. This cultural story has been so ingrained in you that you now live it fully and completely. This, you tell each other, is just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
You have been telling each other that now for so many centuries. Indeed, for millennia after millennia. For so long, in fact, that myths have grown up around these illusions and some of the most prominent myths have been reduced to concepts such as thy will be done, survival of the fittest, to the victor goes the spoils, you were born in original sin, the wages of sin are death. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. What you do not know won't hurt you. God only knows. And many others, equally destructive and non-serving. Based on these illusions, stories, and myths, none of which has anything to do with ultimate reality, is here is how many, wait a minute. Based on these illusions, stories, and myths, none of which has anything to do with reality, here is how many humans have come to think about life.
Question, Queen, okay, those quotes that you just said, the wise tales or whatever, those
That will be done, survival of the fittest, all that.
Where did those come from? Were those in the Bible? Were those things in the Bible, or those are things that people have stated?
Some have brought it to that point. The wages of sin are death.
Because that sounds like,
I don't know if that's a
colonizer, captors. It sounds like people that are captors would tell, those are the things that I guess what you call them, the colonizers would say to people.
Yeah.
Thy will be done. But they're doing something to people. The illusion of, let's stay focused. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So God's going to get the victory of that. I was talking to my grandson and I asked him about, his, when you get married, I said, well, first you gotta have a girlfriend. And I said, what are you looking for in her? And the first thing that he said, that she fears the Lord. She fears God. I said, okay, let's stop right there. You don't want a woman that fears God. You want a woman that loves God. You don't want a woman that fears you. You want a woman that loves you, because the love is what's going to bring about all the goodness, because I love you, I'll do this. Because I love you, I'll deal with this. Because not that I'm scared of you, because scared would be that the vengeance is the Lord. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. God's going to get you. You know, that kind of things. We are born into a hostile world run by a God. Okay, now this is here is how many humans have come to think about life.
Okay.
We are born into a hostile world run by a God who has things he wants us to do and things he wants us not to do, and will punish us with everlasting torture if we don't get the two right. Our first experience in life is separation from our mother, the source of our life. This creates the context of our entire reality, which we experience as one of separation from the source of all life. All caps. We are not only separate from all life, capitalized, but from everything else in life. Everything that exists separate from us. And we are separate from everything that exists. And we are separate from everything else that exists. We do not want it this way, but this is the way it is. We wish it were otherwise, and indeed, we strive for it to be otherwise. We seek to experience oneness again with all things, and especially with each other. We may not know why exactly, yet it seems almost instinctual. It feels like the natural thing to do. The only problem is there does not seem to be enough of the other to satisfy us. No matter what the other thing is that we want, we cannot seem to get enough of it. We cannot get enough love. We cannot get enough time. We cannot get enough money. We cannot get enough of whatever it is we think we need in order to be happy and fulfilled. The moment we think that we have enough, we decide that we want more. Since there is not enough of whatever it is we think we need to be happy, we must do stuff to get as much as we can get. Things are required of us in exchange for everything, from God's love to the natural bounty of life. From God's love to the natural bounty of life. Simply being alive is not enough. Therefore, we, like all of life, are not enough, because just being isn't sufficient. The competition begins. Because just being isn't sufficient, the competition begins. If there's not enough out there, we have to compete for what's there. We have to compete for everything, including God. This competition is tough. It is about our very survival. In this contest, only the fittest survive. And to the victor go all the spoils. If we lose, we live in hell on earth. We live a hell on earth. And after we die, if we are losers in the competition for God, we experience hell again forever. Death is actually created by God because our forebears made the wrong choices. Adam and Eve had everlasting life in the Garden of Eden, but then Eve ate the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and she said, she and Adam were driven from the garden by an angry God.
That's an illusion.
This God sentenced them and all their progeny forevermore to death as the first punishment. Henceforth, life in the body would be limited and no longer everlasting, and so would the stuff of life. Yet God will give us back our everlasting life if we never again break any rules. God's love is unconditional. It is only God's rewards which are not. God's love is even as he condemns us to everlasting damnation. God loves us even as he condemns us to everlasting damnation. It hurts him more than it hurts us because, because he really wants us to return home. But he can't do anything about it if we misbehave. The choice is ours. The trick is, therefore, to not misbehave. We need to live a good life. We must strive to do so. In order to do so, we have to know the truth about what God wants and does not want from us. We cannot please God and we cannot avoid offending him if we do not know right from wrong. So we have to know the truth about that. The truth is simple to understand and easy to know. All we have to do is listen to the prophets, the teachers, the sages, and the source and founder of our religion. If there is more than one religion, and therefore more than one source and founder, then we have to make sure to pick the right one. Picking the wrong one could result in us being a loser.
Oh boy. You know, the whole way that that is set up is for us to be consumers of all the stuff of all the stuff that's for sale.
Yeah.
Should include it.
When we pick the right one, we are superior. We are better than our peers because we have the truth on our side. This state of being better allows us to claim most of the prizes in the contest without actually contesting them. We get to declare ourselves the winners before the competition begins. It is out of this awareness that we give ourselves all the advantages and write our rules of life in such a way that certain others find it nearly impossible to win the really big prizes. We do not do this out of meanness, but simply in order to ensure that victory is ours, as rightly it should be, since it is those of our religion, of our nationality, of our race, of our gender, of our political persuasion who know the truth and therefore deserve to be the winners. Because we deserve to win, we have a right to threaten others, to fight with them, even to kill them if necessary in order to produce this result. There may be another way to live, another thing that God has in mind, another larger truth, but if there is, we don't know it. In fact, it is not clear whether we are even supposed to know it. It is possible that we are not supposed to even try to know it, much less to truly know and understand God. To try is presumptuous, and to declare that you have actually done so is blasphemous. God is the unknown knower, the unmoved mover, the great unseen. Therefore, we cannot know the truth that we are required to know in order to meet the conditions that we have required to meet in order to receive the love that we are required to receive in order to avoid the condemnation that we are seeking to avoid in order to have the everlasting life that we had before any of this started. Our ignorance is unfortunate, but should not be problematic. All we need do is take what we think we know, our cultural story, on faith, and proceed accordingly. This we have tried to do, each according to his or her own beliefs, and thus we have produced the life that we are now living and the reality on earth that we are creating. This is how most of the human race has it constructed. You each have your minor variations, but this is, in essence, how you live your lives, justify your choices, and rationalize the outcomes. Some of you do not accept all of this, yet all of you accept some of it. And you accept these statements as the operating reality, not because they reflect your innermost wisdom, but because someone else has told you that they are true. At some level, you have had to make yourself believe them. This is called make-believe. Yet now it is time to move away from the make-believe and toward what is real. This will not be easy because ultimate reality will differ a great deal from what many people in your world are now agreeing is real. You will literally have to be in this world, but not of it. And what would be the purpose of that what would be the purpose of that if your life is going well? Nothing. There will be no purpose. If you are satisfied with your life and with the world as it is, there will be no reason for you to seek to shift your reality and to stop all this make-believe. This message is for those who are not satisfied with their world as it is. Oh, okay. Okay, just a little bit more. We shall now examine the 10 illusions one by one. You will see how each illusion has caused you to create life on your planet as you are now living it. You will notice that each illusion builds on the previous. Many sound very much alike. That is because they are alike. All of the illusions are simply variations on the first illusion. They are grander distortions of the original distortion. You will also notice that each new illusion was created to fix a flaw in the illusion just before. Finally, tired of fixing flaws, you simply decided that you did not understand any of it. Thus, the final illusion, ignorance, exists. This allowed you to shrug your shoulders and quit trying to solve the mystery. But the evolving mind will not allow such a retreat for very long. In just a few short millennia, a very brief time, indeed, in the history of the universe, you have come to the place where ignorance is no longer bliss. You are not about to climb. Oh, you are about to climb out of primitive culture. You are about to make a quantum leap in your understandings. You are about to see through the 10 illusions. Yeah.
Ooh-wee. I need a drink on that.
I think I'm gonna stick to this right now. This, because now he's gonna break down the illusion, each one, and how we came. Because what he says is that, okay, so the first one, the illusion of need. Okay, and then when we find out that that wasn't real, okay, what? Okay, but we've been doing this for a long time, so let's just create another one, which would be the illusion of failure. So,
right.
And instead of just correcting it, when he said, you forgot that you forgot, you forgot that you forgot. And then you just create a new one. Because you don't want to be wrong. So you just create something to cover that up. And then when the 1 and 2, that didn't work, say, oh, damn, that's not okay. Let's create another one. We separate. Tower of Babel, right? Now let's just separate everybody so we can't communicate anymore. because the first one, that wasn't true. So we can cover that up by everybody talking a different language and we don't understand one another. So there is a disunity. When God breaks this down, we got 3 minutes. Anybody want to say something about this?
I want to say something. When we go back to the wages of sin is death, that is true. Not necessarily physically, but the death, because we're in our illusions and we believe that sin is sin. In the Course of Miracles, it says back in the lesson, sin is insanity. It is the means by which the mind is driven mad and seeks to let illusions take the place of truth. And being mad, it sees illusions where the truth should be and where it really is. If we let go of these illusions, we don't have to be concerned about death.
Amen.
That wage, we don't have to be worried about.
Yeah.
Concerned
What are you reading from again? Now that's the book I have to get. Even everybody say you need to get them
No,
books.
it's the Course in Miracle. It's they're further in. You just start the Course in
Yeah,
Miracle.
this is way back. This is
into that. Oh wow, wow. So that's why I understand.
In the 200. You haven't gotten here yet.
Okay, wow. That's why I sort of understand it.
Right,
bit.
right.
Oh, that
Well,
course is deep. It's deep. It really is. It's deep.
You know,
Wow.
Queen, I was listening to you read and I'm feeling this and I'm just like, wow, how can we hold, no, let me speak for myself. I want to be able to hold myself accountable to not be going to these illusions. And I was wondering, how can I help my sisters too? You know, as I walk along, you know, I want to encourage you guys too, you know.
You posting those pictures does that. You posting those pictures every morning is that right there to me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just go on with your walk, because my challenge is trying to bring people with me who may not be ready to come. But
There
once
you
they
go.
see
Right.
you're doing it, you do it. See, that's why I got the sign, you know, in a meeting, don't interrupt.
Right.
You know, don't interrupt me. And
Okay, thank you.
As soon
I
as she sees the
received
look
that.
on my face
I
and she just
received that.
walks in,
Thank
she's
you,
going,
Mama Head. Thank you for saying that too.
yeah.
You're
Just,
welcome.
yeah.
Because they'll see you.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're in a relationship and the other person, you're like, oh my gosh, they don't see trustworthy. You'll be trustworthy.
That's
because
right.
you're the only person you're responsible for. You can only take what a person says. Now, my answer to all of that is music. If we have a Tower of Babel, if we start hitting the drums and put some music on, everybody gonna be doing whatever they do.
Right.
Right.
Right. And the other thing is the acceptance of what each other do. It's a different expression. You know, because music is universal.
It is.
Yes.
Every you know, the chart is the same from country to country. You know, I guess if you go to another country and have to read the chart, it's going to be similar. So they'll like, oh, that means like this. This is how we write ours out. But music, universal. And you could be two people in the same house, one like country and the other likes African music.
Right.
And you can't make the other like the other.
You can find a common beat though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you're so silly? What if, you know how the protest is, how when you protest and you go out and you chant, you know, the little protest, you know, Black Lives Matter. What if we put on a long, like 24-hour continuous stream of music where we just like just sing in their faces. You know what I'm saying? The music that we stated for our playlist was like upbeat, and we just start singing and walking down the street and just singing in their faces. If the cops come up and they block us, we just in their faces, we just singing and just
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Pharrell did with
that would
Happy.
be
Pharrell did that with Happy.
happy, just happy,
That's true.
just
Right.
Mm-mm.
yeah, that would be something.
Well,
'Cause
thank
some
you,
of
Queen. Thank you.
yes, that was woo.
You're so welcome.
We can eat on that for a while.
I'm
Yes,
saying
yes, yes.
it's a feast.
Right.
So just remember those that, what we created. We created. Need exists, failure, disunity, insufficiency, requirement, judgment, condemnation, conditionality, superiority, ignorance. Somebody said, oh, he says it in I think Friendship, talking about the 10 Commandments. He said that's not true in the sense of how it's being presented. So how can God command something and it not happen? Just like we said in here. So when we say it, and I've been in services where, God needs your worship. God needs your this, your God needs this.
Right.
For us. That's for us to open up. It's not that God sitting there like, they're not giving me this, and so I'm not gonna do nothing for them.
Look, it's like paying your tithes. Tithes are for the bill. You got to keep the bills paid at the church.
Right, right.
Bill. They need to know that the bill's gonna be paid. So that's what the tithes are.
Right.
But some people want it, but it's also your talent or your fund. So let's, because you need people to write. If you need the bills paid, that means that we got to have somebody that's doing plumbing. We got to keep the water on, But the biggest illusion that I'm sick of, I'm going to switch it on over, is the illusion that this water is going to run out. No, what you're going to do is you're going to trick us to think that the water can't run out because it cycles itself. Stop telling me that. This earth, if the earth ain't big enough, she'll spread wide. This thing is a magical thing. It will spread wide. But what we need to be mindful of all of this, what we're doing and how we're treating the earth, because that's all I really think about is how we're treating the earth.
Yes, true.
Yeah. And the what is that? The illusion that I just think it's an illusion of global warming. It's because of the consciousness of what some people are doing that is creating a crisis. But don't tell me it can't be reversed and it can't be overcome, because God can overcome everything.
Exactly.
Well,
and it's my birthright to be here.
I also is the evolution of life, that everything comes and changes. The earth changes. The earth will not always be the same because it wasn't the same before we got here,
Right.
And so the evolution and the earth will take care of itself. And then in 100 or 1,000 years, it's not going to look the same because it evolves just as we evolve.
Exactly.
So we can blame this and that. And yes, part of it is because we owe all these things, like of all these things that we believe. But when it's time, a girl will begin menstruation. At a certain time, a woman, even if she's not a woman yet, can have a baby. And that comes after the period comes, then you're in a position to have a child. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. So no, and no, I don't believe in monkeys. No, that kind. But the whole thing is that when we remember that we are one with God and there is no better than, for me, that helps me to deal with everything. That includes racism, all of that. If we can just be one, wow. What a wonderful world this will be. All right, Queens. Give yourself a big hug. It's been a joy sitting in for my girl, Danyelle.
Yeah.
You better.
Take care.
Thank you.
world.
I am, and I'm hugging the world. Your hair is so pretty, Mama Evelyn.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
pulled it over to the side, and then you can see all the curls, and for the girls, and for the boys, and for herself. All right, Queens. Love you. And
Love you. Oh,
Love you too.
peace out.
No,
Peace. Get better, Danyelle.
thank you. I am.